This meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by board commission members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards quorum. The meeting will be broadcast live and recorded on ECAT. To use Zoom, you'll need to use the link on the agenda or download the Zoom application at www.zoom.us. Create an account or use one of the call-in numbers listed on the agenda. You will need the webinar ID to join by phone only. While conducting meetings remotely, we will endeavor to keep the meeting operations as close to our standard procedures as possible. However, use of this platform will necessitate some additional meeting protocols. One, while the board members or commissioners and applicants will be on video and audio, public participants will join the webinar as attendee, meaning they are muted and with no video feed from them. During the public testimony portion of the meeting, members of the public can be recognized by using the raised hand function found under participants from Zoom, or make a request with the Q&A function. If you're joining only by phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. If an applicant wishes to display materials, please make the request of the chair and email materials to the board staff for sharing on screen. When starting testimony, please state your name and address for the record. There's a markup function in Zoom which will allow you to call out specific areas of presentation materials. As in any public meeting, indecent behavior will not be tolerated, and anyone who abuses use of the meeting platform will be terminated from the meeting. Business will be handled at the times indicated on the agenda. Business not included in the allotted time will be tabled to the end of the meeting to allow for timely logons and remote attendance. Board members are asked to announce themselves when making a motion in seconds, so they'll be clear to the audience and minute takers who make motions. All votes will be made by roll call. When all business indicated on the agenda has been completed, the members will vote to adjourn the meetings, signaling the end of the meeting and terminating of the ECAT recording. All participants will be disconnected from the webinar at that time. Applicants will join the webinar as attendee and promoted to panelists at their agenda item. Applicants will then be able to share their screens and present their materials. As much as possible, presentation materials should be provided beforehand so the materials will be included in the public record. Individual board chairs and staff may wish to keep screen sharing to their computer. Applicants are encouraged to speak with the staff prior to the meeting on how materials will be presented. All right. So with that, I think I saw Ken come. Yep, Ken came on board. How are you, Ken?
Okay.
All right. All right, so we'll take roll call now. I am here. Jason?
Present.
Present. Ken?
Present.
I know Jim couldn't make it. Dave?
Present.
All right. Dan, I don't think he said he was going to try to join by vehicle, but I don't see him on the list here. All right. Jamie?
Present.
All right. And I know Lauren can't make it either. I believe there's a school committee meeting tonight too. So, because Leisha had also contacted me. So we have 1, 2, 3. We do have 4 voting members, so we do have a quorum. So we will move forward with the agenda. I had sent out the approval of the meeting minutes, August 5, 2025 meeting minutes. Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns about the meeting minutes? Alrighty. I just saw one, and Kathy, I know you're on the, I know you're on there. It was on page 3. I'll kind of read it back. We could see. Said Mr. Jick asked if any issues have been voiced by general contractor Fontaine Brothers. Mr. Miller informed that updates and tracking have been on track, and the Army Corps of Engineers concern was rectified. Mr. Joint added that the gears were approved. I believe that's switch gears. Does that make sense, Greg?
Yeah.
I think Dan was asking that week about long
Yeah.
lead time items, correct?
Yeah, it's obviously unrelated to the Army Corps permitting issue.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
switch gear, and that
Yeah.
has been approved.
Yeah, so if we just change that, Kathy, from gears to switch gear, I think we'd be fine. That was the only thing I saw. Anyone else had anything? Alrighty, do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes as amended? Do I have a
So move, Stebbins.
Jamie? All right, do I have a second?
Second, Bruce.
Jason? All right, I am a yes. Ken?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. And Jamie?
Yes.
All right, so those minutes have been unanimously approved. So without further ado, I I will turn it over to you, Mitch, so you can give us the project update.
Perfect. Let me attempt to share my screen. And I'm going to try to go into presentation mode. Everybody see this okay?
Yeah, it looks good.
Perfect. So just a quick agenda on what we have on the presentation tonight. We're going to have a general project update with a few financial pieces of information, schedule update, a construction update with some progress photos, next steps, and any Q&A that anybody might have. So as far as the budget update goes, the project is about 18% complete budget-wise. So everything here is tracking as intended, and the cash flow is right on track. So no real budget concerns at this time. Everything is A-OK. As far as our construction contingency goes, you can see the time elapsed at the top. So we're 34.1 into the construction schedule, right? And we've only authorized 1.1% of that as change orders. There are a few out there in current exposure that we're working with the design team on, going through those and going through the TRC and then the select board as those get approved. Nothing too outrageous in those change orders, kind of typical as we would expect at this point. And then you can see the soft cost contingency and bid savings in the bucket on the right. So we have 98% of that available, and we've used 2% of that on some soft cost change orders, such as design amendments. So everything's tracking well, money-wise as well. Feel free to stop me when I get into the photos, because we have quite a few of them, and anybody has any questions, we can go over them as we poke around. So for a construction update at Fire Substation, you can see that now we have the roofing was going in. So let me just back up a sec. This is from our last meeting in August 5th till today. So you'll see updates from August 5th all the way through today. So the roofing was going on and is now complete at Fire Substation. It's a nice aerial shot of the whole site. You get a good feel for how it's laid out on the site. And then we follow that up with the rendering that KBA did during the design phase. And so now you can kind of, if I flip back and forth, you can kind of see, you know, construction, final product right there. So pretty neat to see it in the stage that it is right now. You can see they're working on exterior framing and sheathing. So framing is going up. They're also framing out the windows, putting blocking in for the windows, door frames, etc. And then sheathing will go on after that, followed by air vapor barrier and then siding. Just a different angle to show you inside where we have the underground plumbing complete, working on other underground utilities as well. And then there has been a slab placement since this photo was taken also. Here's the progress from August 5th till today on the time-lapse camera that we use on site. Doesn't look whole lot different, but the roof is now complete. Interior slab is now complete. They're actually starting soon to do the radiant piping in the apparatus bay. So that's good progress. And you can see on the right photo that exterior framing that I was mentioning before is going up. And then here's the front elevation of the rendering. And then that's going into public safety. Any questions on Fire Substation? Okay. At public safety, we'll start off with this drone photo showing the overall site. And so in the back where you see all the cars between the trees, that's where the first bridge is. So that's how we'll access DPW. In this photo, you see a lot of the structural CMU is complete. So you have the walls to the apparatus bay. You have the detention area, and you have stairwells and elevator shaft. And you can also see that the structural steel began in this picture. They actually just mobilized yesterday, the structural steel, and they're already chugging right along. Another aerial shot, the crane setting the steel. And then here's that same angle. This gives you a good view of DPW and the two bridge crossings to get back there, as well as the whole lay of the land. This was masonry work on one of the stair tower. That's the elevator? No, stair tower.
It's the back stair tower.
Yeah,
mesh,
back stair tower. Going up. Masons fly with their block, so they're By the time they get to the top, they got to take down their scaffolding and go to the next area. This is some excavation for footings that was going in. You can see the underground utilities here. So we had some water pipe going in. We had electrical conduits stubbed up. This was all in preparation for the slab placement. This is a view of inside the apparatus bay.
Yeah, and Mitch, so this one is inside the apparatus bay looking back toward the two-story portion of public safety. The windows up above are actually into the fire administration area. So they have visual connection down into the apparatus bay. You can see what's going on down in the, on the deck, as well as, a nice connection up from them in that staircase we saw in the previous photo, which is right behind that wall to the left there in the background of the image. So good connection through and both visually and physically for them to navigate up and down and get down onto the deck if need be.
And then outside, this was just some photos of our progress on the foundations. You can see the insulation on the interior prior to slab placement. They're backfilling in there. Any underground utilities were going in. And then on the right side, you can see they have some piers formed up, and you can see in the far right corner some rebar going in over there. Just a picture of one of the exterior walls. You can get a good idea for all of the conduits for the utilities that are needed in the box outs going through the foundation walls. Then progress from 8:05 to 9:30. This is a pretty cool shot because the photo on the left looks nothing like the photo on the right. So this is always good to see this sort of progress on site. Then getting back to the bridges, so the good aerial view of Bridge 1. We've done a lot of work. They had to do their supportive excavation, which are those metal sheets that you see to get in there to excavate to work. So then they do a footing, and then they've been working on wall placements as well. And these are quite extensive with reinforcing. So a lot of labor that goes into these. Here's a good shot of the right side, a wall being formed up, and then the left side is a footing for one of the bridge abutments.
And so the bridge abutments that you see here are about halfway up. There's another section that goes on top of those that really is the piece where the precast bridge elements that span go. So this is the first section of wall. There's a bit of a stop there, and then on top of that, they'll place another section of wall. And you can see how the walls kind of slant back into the slope. Those are the wing walls for the abutment that kind of keep everything contained and funnel the areaway through on the stream side or wetland side. So that's what you see here, and that supportive excavation really makes all of this work possible. What you don't see in these pictures that you may have seen either on your visit out on site or in the aerials is the frac tank. So that tank allows the contractor to dewater this. So basically pump groundwater out to stop it from filling the hole. You can see there's a tube there that they can put a pump down in when it rains to keep the groundwater level down, or if the groundwater level rises to keep it down. And it goes through, it looks like a big dumpster almost, that allows for any of the turbidity in the water. So the stuff that makes water brown, basically dirt, to settle out and not go back into the discharge water that goes out into the wetlands. So that's really the way that the contractor is able to, mitigate the water without, having adverse effects on the wetland area surrounding this. So sensitive area. They're doing all the right steps. We've been lucky. It's been relatively dry and we haven't had to do a lot of dewatering, but all the mechanisms are in place to make sure that if we do have to do that, we can do it safely.
Yeah, good point, Greg, and great explanation. So also out back at DPW, as all of you know, there's some trash mitigation that has had to happen on this site. So from the aerial view, you can see that it's all look, I'll try to use my cursor, but this is the main area that is shown in the gray on this side. And then there's a few other random areas of mitigation that had to take place as well. So the contractor's been working on this. They've been filling up, I don't know what the count is of dumpsters at this point, but countless dumpsters, breaking down all of the old 18-wheel trailers that have been back there, 53-foot trailers, and all sorts of debris that they're finding. There's some another picture on the top left. You can see some of that trash that's remaining back there, and a zoomed in picture on the bottom right of a smashed up. Well, that looks like one of the trailers that I was talking about right there. And then kind of in the middle of this photo, you can get the general feel for the site. So the contractor's been back there cutting down to subgrade. We've been having consultants making sure that that's going as planned, and they'll be bringing up the areas as needed with structural fill so that we can work on foundations.
Yeah, so if if you look at those photos, you've seen the photos before when all the vegetation and forest was around there. Now that that stuff's gone and out of the way and allows us to get access in there, you can really see, just the sheer volume of material that's out there. I think for 3 or 4 weeks, Mitch, they basically fill 2 or 3 30-yard dumpsters a day and haul them off, and that's pretty continuous throughout. Those dumpsters are, for a while, I think they were just 30 yards of plastic bottles, 30 yards of plastic bags, and now they're into some of the bigger stuff, but still have a lot of that plastic waste that's on site to remove. You can see them kind of getting through that and making sure they're keeping that all segregated into the areas that need to get remediated versus the rest of the site, which is actually very clean. So we were lucky to get access out there pretty early to do a lot of investigation, and so far we're pretty much right on track where we thought all that debris was going to be. It's pretty much right where we knew it to be, and we haven't found much else. So good news so far.
Yeah, and Greg's team and the engineers have been out there to witness all this removal, make sure it all gets done as intended.
So I think you answered the question that was in the back of probably not just my mind, Greg and Mitch, but volume wise, are we going to exceed, the number of, dumpsters that or,
What they own is what I think you're.
yeah, how much we're hauling out of there? Is it going to exceed what we planned, uh, and had aside for, cost for remediation?
So at this point, there's no indication of that, Jamie. I mean, all things are, not final till they're final, but the area that, if you can, Mitch, if you flip back one slide, right, you can see that green box we have shown, and that's really replicated in the picture here. So the areas we outlined in the documents were geolocated with GIS, and the volumes were calculated fairly accurately. We provided more like test pit logs or logs to show the height of that refuse out in the site throughout that area to give the contractor adequate information to bid the project off of. I don't expect any, but we may get some if we find stuff that was not documented in the plan. So so far so good, but I wouldn't expect added cost for that item.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, and Greg, just to follow up on that, if you want to go back to that slide real quick. Yeah, those other small square foot shapes up top, those are the ones on the other side of the power lines, correct?
No, this is all
Or-
on our side of the power lines.
It
Those
is, okay.
areas, yeah, those areas, Andy, were fairly small and not as the waste was generally larger, like metal items and things like that,
Tires,
barrels,
drums, yeah.
tires, drums, things like that, that could be taken out by hand. So it didn't require a lot of machine work in there, which a lot of that stuff has been done already. those you wouldn't notice quite as much
Yeah,
as
that's what I was
this
gonna say.
big area,
I haven't
obviously.
walked up that
Um,
part yet. I've
yeah,
only seen the big area. Yeah.
so those, Andy, generally were like, pipes and barrels and things like that that could be removed by hand. That stuff got done fairly early because they could get in there and get it out. This area with the plastic, the tires and the trailers obviously took a while to get back there just because of the sheer volume of things. They had to be able to get a road back there to be able to take that refuse out of there. So 30-yard dumpsters are pretty big and hard to fill, and they're filling them up with no problem. So they'll continue to pick at this and get that stuff out of there. But it is a lot of waste. As you can see, we called out for areas on here of the refuse. So 22,500 square feet, 20,000 square feet, that's 45,000 square feet of area for refuse. Just as a point of comparison, the public safety building is about 53,000 square feet. So it's almost as big as the size of the building. The total area is somewhere around 50 something thousand square feet. The Public Works building is about 60,000, 62,000 square feet. So it's a really large area, and that area was approximately a foot to a foot and a half deep in that refuse over a large part of it, particularly that 42,000-ish, 43,000-ish square foot area shown at the bottom that we're focusing on here in the picture. So if you kind of do the math, a foot and a half thick by 42,000 square feet, you fill up a 30-yard dumpster pretty quickly for a lot of times when you go through that amount of volume.
But it looked great. Last time I was out there, I saw they had munched most of the trails and things, so that was nice to see.
Oh yeah, they're moving as quick as they can, filling up those dumpsters.
Yeah, great. Thank
These are just some additional photos back at DPW. These are some of the areas that they have to build up to work on the bridges. So these are kind of like working pads to work on the abutments. And then we're jumping into schedule. So that was the end of the photo update. Anybody have any questions on any of the photos that we want to go back on?
Anyone? No. I mean, I'm just amazed at how quick the steel goes because I think that crane just looked like it showed up yesterday. So
Yeah, it did. Showed up yesterday and they
Yeah,
get
yeah.
right to it. Those guys
Yeah.
don't mess around.
no, that goes quick. Excellent. Anyone else have any questions as far as the update goes? All right. And remember, anytime you have questions, if you think of something outside of the meeting, you can email me or any of the project team. So
Yeah, absolutely.
with that, we can switch over to the schedule update.
Yeah, so schedule is as of Fontaine's last schedule update. So last month, everything is still as anticipated for substantial completion. So as a reminder, fire substation is in May of 26, and DPW and public safety is December of 26. Fontaine owes us a schedule update in the next week or so. We're not expecting any changes there, but if anything does change, we'll make sure to update everybody appropriately. Again, this is just our overall schedule, quick summary. We're during the construction phase. So this is almost October now of 25. This week is October, which is scary to think about. But we're moving right along. As far as key dates and NBC meetings, so we don't have our next one scheduled. So Andy, I'm not sure if we want to talk about that now or if we want to try to recircle on that. I think we didn't have one. No, we had one August 5th and then September 30th. So if we want to do one in October, I'm happy to do that and give another construction update as well.
Yeah, and I think we probably, I mean, we're going to be doing the topping off ceremony next week, so people will have a chance to, see the progress then. But probably what I would do is I would probably see if we wanted to do another walkthrough, maybe at the end of October, and then an NBC meeting in November. Maybe
Okay.
like towards the middle or early November. So I think that will be the schedule. I can email the group and see what we can do for dates because I know I don't I don't know if we always conflict with the school committee, but obviously having two voting members on the school committee, I just want to make sure we're clean with that. I just don't want to, that gets us a little tight for quorum. So I just want to make sure we're good on those dates.
Okay, that works.
So yeah, so I think we will plan on, like I said, probably towards the end of October, another walkthrough with the group, and then a few weeks later in November, we'll plan for another update meeting. I think that will work. Does that work for the group?
Yeah, and I
All
think
right.
it sounds great.
Yeah. All right, and from a schedule standpoint, I just didn't know, when is the like footings foundation work going on at the DPW? Is that, I just didn't know what that time frame was.
They're about I want to say 2 to 4 weeks out. I think they're gonna. I'm trying to remember. It's sometime definitely in October. I can't remember if it was like the 16th or like the 20 something from their last schedule update. But we're quickly approaching that. So they're working on the building pad, bringing up the structural fill there. They're doing that in lifts, so they'll bring that up. We'll compact it, we test it, and over again until we get to the working elevation that we need to be at. But yeah, everything has been on time so far back there, getting behind there, the bridges and getting foundations going. Again, they owe us an update. I think they were working on it today after we had our meeting with them. So hopefully we get our eyes on that sooner than later.
And I think what we've talked about is that the goal is to have both of the buildings, the building envelope pretty much buttoned up for the winter, right? For all the the roughs and trades and stuff to get in there. That's still the plan, right?
They're trying. They're trying
Yeah.
to get in there before the weather hits. And
Yeah.
I don't
I
want
don't
to
want to
jinx
jinx
it.
you.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx us here, but weather's been pretty mild recently in the last couple of years. So hopefully they get some good cooperation with that and they get the building weather tight so they can start roughing in electrical and mechanicals.
All right. All right. And I think that was the end of the update, correct, you guys?
Yep, that was all we had tonight. Unless anybody else has any questions for us.
Anyone have any other questions? I know.
No, we appreciate the update though. Thanks, gents.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Yeah, I mean everything is it's going along very quickly. It's amazing when you go there. I missed today's walkthrough today, but when you go week to week, it's just amazing how much is getting done. It's great. All right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate you folks getting on from KBA and PMA. And I think the only other thing, so I know for those of us, I think you folks will probably be there, right? For the topping off next week. Yep, so that is next Wednesday. So I have, as far as replies so far, I think I will be there. Ken, you're going to be there, correct?
I'm planning on it. Yep.
All right, and Dave's going to be there. I think Jason, you can't make it, right? I know it's during the day, so I feel for some people.
Yeah, Wednesday I've got a lot of meetings. It's just
Yeah, it's just, yeah. I knew when they want, I knew they wanted to do it during the day. We'd probably lose some folks. So, I think
What
Dan
time
said
is
he's
it?
coming, and I think and Jamie, you were traveling, right? I think you won't be able to make it, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm still waiting to hear from Jim and Lauren and Leisha to see if they're gonna make it. But I think we'll have a good showing. I know. I think Jamie is most of the select board coming too. I think.
Correct. I think you're gonna have, I think the other four will be there. Mhm.
Yeah.
What time are they planning on?
At 9:30.
9:30.
Cool. Okay.
Yes, Greg's bringing donuts at 9. So donuts and coffee. So
Get the griddle going.
where are we gonna meet? We'll probably meet at the trails, right, or something like that.
So actually, hold on. We're meeting. Greg, can I pull up that flyer right now, or is it ready?
Yeah, I can probably pull it up. Give me one
I
second.
can pull it up too.
Did I send it to, do you have it?
Yeah, you sent it to me.
Okay.
And then let me just share with everybody so we can put our eyes on it. Because there is a little bit of we're gonna have to park across the street, so I want to get the logistics ironed out in case anybody has any questions. So October 8th, 9:30 to 10:30. As far as parking goes on Depot Street, there's a slight pull-off that we would ask people to park at if they're attending, and somebody will be there to escort you across the street. And the topping off will take place in front of the PMA trailer, which is this double wide right on the entrance to the site.
So for folks in town where the farmers market used to be, that pull off kind of across from Whistle Stop, that's the pull off that we're asking parking to be, because the crane that you can see in the picture here is in its position that it'll be in when the topping beam goes in. So that front area there is fairly tight. You know, just getting enough space on site for parking is a little bit tricky.
Yeah, and you folks have enough PPE, right? I think it's probably just hard hats, right? Is that all you're gonna need, or do we even need that? I mean,
you might
I
not
have
even, you typically on this sort of event, we won't need it.
Yeah.
Because we'll all just be at a little area with some chairs set up, maybe standing room, and probably a podium and a microphone.
All right. All right. It's hard to believe it's already here.
Mm.
It's gone quick. All right. Well, that sounds excellent. So that is Wednesday. All right. So I think that's up we have for business, unless someone else has any other new business. I figured this would be a quick one because things are going great. So, all right. So if there is no new business, I think I will take a motion to adjourn.
So move Stebbins.
Second, Bruce.
Jason for a second. We'll do a roll call vote. I am a yes. Ken,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
and Jamie.
Yes.
All right. Our meeting's adjourned. I know I'll see some of you next week at the topping off. And again, if anyone ever wants to go by the site, I mean, the folks at PMA are always there. They'd be more than willing to walk someone around, or if I'm around, feel free to reach out to me. I'm usually there Tuesday morning. So, if anyone can't get over there, just let us know, because it is great to actually get your eyes on it. It's a pretty big project when you walk around. So, all right. Well, if nothing else, have a good evening and hop over to the Red Sox game if that's where you're headed. And go from there.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
We'll see everyone.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good night.
everybody.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Have a good week.